Yo, YouTube, another video, we're back, you know what I'm saying? But today's cold as fuck out here, not gonna lie. Today's topic is really to talk about how we don't really know enough to be pessimistic. And
that's very true, because we know enough to be optimistic, 100%.
right, knowing that God is all knowing, knowing that God is all doing, and knowing that if we play our part, everything else will come forth. And a great story to tell is kind of when I was in high school, right? My 9th grade year, I got cut from JV, not even varsity. They couldn't even make JV. I was that ass. Apparently, I was that ass. And my 9th grade year, I told myself, like, yo, I'm gonna show these niggas that I can fucking hoop. You feel me? That I'm not ass. I'm not as ass as they making it seem. To where I can't even make JV, right? And throughout the time, you know, I'm putting in the work throughout the years to actually make the team. Ended up transferring from the school, right? Because I was at a school called Orford Academy, right? Shout out to Rocket Watts, probably one of the best guards I've ever seen firsthand with my 2 eyes. And Isaiah Jackson, that nigga's fucking, oh my goodness. Them niggas as a backcourt, not even a backcourt, them niggas being on the same team together, the shit was fucking ridiculous to watch in high school. But that's besides the point. I ended up transferring and making a JV team at a different school, right? And, you know, still in the pursuing of just loving basketball. Not even trying to go to college, not even trying to go to the league, but just simply loving the sport. And got to the new school, right? And just fast forward the story, just worked. Just worked every day, worked every weekend, worked every morning, worked every night at just perfecting my craft, studying different players, Kevin Garnett, fucking Hakeem, fucking Kobe, Michael, LeBron, everybody, Kyrie, Harden, everybody, literally. And in due time, what was my goal to do? To prove that I can hoop. And in due time, just working every day in the span of actually getting to my senior year, when I actually, I would say, achieved my goal, I was already achieving the goal, but not even knowing it. Not seeing how much better I was getting, not seeing the miracles that God was putting me through, not seeing the uncomfortability that I was actually comfortable with, because I was simply enjoying the journey, enjoying the love that I have for the game of basketball. And we get to my senior year, right? We're in a district championship, and I'm playing, not the same team, but I'm playing the same coaches that actually cut me my 9th grade year. And at the end of that game, I ended up taking that championship from them and leaving high school, proving my point, proving what I set out to do, right? And it took me 4 years to do that, mind you. It took me 4 years to actually complete that goal, complete that promise that I made to myself my 9th grade year. And that would actually brings me here to talk to you guys about how we really don't know enough to be pessimistic, but we know enough to be optimistic, knowing that God is all knowing and knowing that God is all doing, and that God can do anything as long as you play your part and put your foot in the mud. You feel what I'm saying? And we're about 4 months into the year, and whoever needs to hear this, is time, like, bro, one of the most important things that I've learned, and that's, let's say, like the last year and a half, is simply to grow the fuck up and be more, right? You want more, so you must be more. You want to do more, you have to be more. And that comes to a lot of being uncomfortable. And no matter what you do in this life, you're going to go through those uncomfortable moments. If you want to be more, you will have to be uncomfortable, because being more tells you that you are not what you used to be. And when you're not what you used to be, and you're striving to be more than what you used to be, you're going to have to shed some skin. You're going to have to become bigger. And sometimes shedding that skin is a lot harder than we think, right? Sometimes shedding that skin is cutting off family members. Sometimes shedding that skin is cutting off friends and family. And I've come to the realization that in moments where I wanted to grow and I told myself I'm willing to cut this person off, those are not always the people you need to cut off. right? You may be ready to do that, but the individuals that you didn't even think about cutting off, those are the ones you got to cut off. The ones that you call your brothers, your twins, your sisters, those may be the ones where you're just not in the right environment to where you need to be who you have to be. And it sounds like the obvious thing when people tell you, like, yeah, you got to cut your friends and family off. You got to cut certain people off. The obvious answer is not always my best friend. Right? It's not obvious that it might be your girlfriend or your boyfriend, right? That's not always the obvious answer. We always strictly go to the ones that we're like, all right, got a mutual of a mutual, or the nigga I'm not that really close with. And then in due time, when you actually work on yourself and you're working on evolving, you come to realize that nobody knows the new me. Nobody knows the old me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows who I'm trying to be but me. And as you begin to fully embrace those times, fully embrace that journey, because you know you want to love that journey, you find yourself in a space between a rock and a hard place, a boulder and a hard place, right? And I'm here to say that God will replace all that you may need and all that you have lost, and replace it with bigger and better. And sometimes the best thing you can do in a situation, relationship, friendship, or anything, is to separate yourself, is to give yourself grace and give yourself the space to actually walk away from these things when you know that they are not the best for you. Excuse you, but for real, like, I wouldn't say I fully cut a lot of people off, but I did distance myself, you know, to find myself, giving myself the grace to walk in different rooms to where I found those things interesting, and also giving myself the grace to walk out of that room when I realized either this is not who I want to be, or this is not what I want to do. Okay? Because I have a real problem with, like, if I don't love it, I can't do it. You know, if I don't love the shit, I cannot do it. Which is why when I love basketball, 100%, I love basketball. When I set out that goal, I would say I wasn't really in love with the journey anymore once I proved my point. Right? Once again, I wasn't thinking about college. I was not thinking about the NBA. I was not thinking about none of that. I was thinking about really a district championship, to be honest. And once I got it, I'm like, all right? And then I also found myself walking into a new endeavor, and I ended up taking a trip out to Bali, right? And when I got to Bali, I knew that I needed to actually do work when I was in Bali, right? Now, I was not actually in Bali, but Bali is like an insider thing to where I can't tell you where I was, but I was in Bali, okay? Now, I was in Bali, and Bali was just mad comfortable, right? Sauna, movie theater downstairs, right? Go outside, pool, hot tub, you feel me? Big house, big refrigerator, all of that. Hella food, pantry, all of that, right? And I just did not find the will to do work, even though I did the work because of the identity shift, right? And you know, as I walk into these new endeavors, I find more of myself. I'm only 22, right? So I'm very critical of taking these years to actually find more of what I like, of more of what I do. But of course, as we grow, we become different. As we see more things, we become more different. And I can say that one of the best things that I've done was actually journey through all of these years of my life and find out my icks, I guess, my icks and my ticks. You know what I'm saying? My icks and my ticks. Seeing at what moments do I run away? What moments do I get uncomfortable? What moments do I keep running back to? Right? Because a lot of times we find ourselves remembering and wanting to go back to certain relationships or certain things or certain habits, not because we missed those particular people or those particular things, but we missed who we were when we did those things. when you find yourself in that moment, you have to remind yourself why you want it to be more, why you want it to be better. Your why is very important. Your why is very important on why you can be optimistic. You know, I'm doing this because I want to make a living for me and my girlfriend. I'm doing this so I can get my mom out of the trenches. I'm doing this so I can pay for my dad's surgery. I'm doing this so I can pay for my kids. I can have my kids not struggling financially, not struggling health-wise. I'm not struggling with anything, and that everything is cared for. Your why is why you do it. And if your why is not big enough, when you hit those roadblocks, you won't jump over it. You won't put the energy in jumping over it because your why is not big enough. You feel what I'm saying? So, once again, you don't know enough to be pessimistic. You don't know enough to say that it may not happen. Because miracles happen. Miracles are real as fuck. Me ending up in a district championship with these same coaches that cut me is a miracle. But miracles are only miracles when you prepare for miracles, when you prepare for things. If I was not prepared, or I have not taken those years to grind and strive to be better, when I seen those coaches 4 years later, not only would they have cut me in 9th grade year, they would have taken the one championship shot that I had in high school. But the preparation and then the opportunity came, which made it seem like a miracle. But miracles happen every day. But were we prepared to make it a miracle? That's what we have to understand. Did we prepare enough to make it a miracle? How many opportunities has passed us because we did not choose to be more earlier? Because we did not prepare more to be better in this moment of opportunity? Ask yourself that. And be honest, because honesty is very hard for a lot of us. Sometimes honesty can be a lot hard for myself. You feel what I'm saying? But we grow and we be better. And that's all we can do. Identity shifts, man. Just figure out what you believe in. Figure out your beliefs. Figure out your emotional convictions. Figure out what you're doing constantly. Journal. You know, journal from the future. Journal from now, talking to yourself in the future. Journal as if you're your future self, and then continue to operate in that light. You know what I'm saying? Be more. Be you. Cause shit, it's only one you. It's only one Steph.